Hey guys, this is Ashley Kang of Horizon Esports. This interview has been brought to you by Republic of Gamers, powered by G14 Jeffers. And I am joined by BrokenBlade, the top laner of G2, as G2 look forward to playing against T1 here at 2024 MSI bracket stage. Hey BrokenBlade, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. Excited to be playing the main stage of MSI, um, especially against T1. So,
Yeah, there was the bracket draw only yesterday, and I know that G2 has been in Chengdu for a while in general, preparing for the bracket stage. How has G2's journey towards MSI so far?
our journey has been quite nice. We have had a boot camp in Chengdu as well, in an esports hotel, which was very, very nice. They welcomed us with open arms, were very nice to us. We got to practice a lot of stuff, played a lot of solo queue prior to coming to the main hotel. So right now we feel obviously very, very, very motivated to compete. We'll have to wait until Friday. Um, so yeah, we've still got a lot of time to practice and to come up with the best strategy to beat T1.
Yeah, and just a side question. Speaking of solo queue, I just got an intel from a fan called Mikyx, who did mention and had a big curiosity on why you went negative win rate on your solo queue account. Just like a fan feedback.
Well, it wasn't very like a negative account. It was like I think I had like 33 wins and 34 losses. So I guess you could say negative account. Okay, so the whole story was that when I came to China, my account wasn't ready. My main account wasn't ready, so I had to play on our coach's account. It was Duffman's account, um, and then it didn't go very well. So I was like, oh, you know what? I need a fresh start. And then my main account, or the account that I'm supposed to be playing on, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start on this account. It's a fresh account, and I was struggling a little bit in solo queue with like my mentality and attitude towards it. So I was like, new account, new me type of way, you know. So yeah, I mean, ever since then it's going a lot better. So um, been definitely having a way better attitude towards solo queue. Um, throughout this boot camp. I mean, I wouldn't say it was necessarily bad, but it was definitely something I didn't like for myself. It was snowballing a bit too much. I was being negative. Um, and then I realized why I'm actually here in this boot camp, why I'm here in China in the first place. It's to win MSI and not to, rage in solo queue. So yeah, ever since that, I felt like I'm doing much, much better. So.
As you mentioned, you guys do have been practicing and do have few more days to practice until your first match at MSI. What is your overall take on how the MSI meta has developed? Is it something similar to what you've been expecting, and is it something that you guys like?
I mean, the meta has definitely been evolved around like lane swapping and like drafting in case there is lane swaps. So for us, it's obviously very nice. It's placed into our hands. We practiced a lot of lane swaps before coming to Europe, so we are very, very comfortable with this. Um, and a lot of teams are starting to just play like tanky top laners, like picking Cassandra, picking Zac, Sion, Ornn even. Like if you look at top esport and Fnatic even played Ornn. So yeah, it's a lot of tanky top laners. So we're gonna see what we're gonna bring up, but we definitely have a lot of good ideas on how we win the game. So I'm very excited to showcase that against someone like T1.
You just mentioned Jack, and you were one of the first top laners to play Jack in LEC. And throughout the entire LEC winter and spring, you were known as the herald when it comes to inspiring the meta. That top laner who is trying all the new champions and succeeding at it. Is it something that we'll also possibly look forward to here at 2024 MSI? Some interesting top lane picks against T1. Aha.
Well, there's definitely a good chance. I've been cooking up some stuff, in the Chinese super server. I can't guarantee for something yet. There's definitely something that I think is strong. We're gonna see until we actually play the game, and maybe before I pick it, someone else will pick it. So we're gonna see about that. Definitely think players like Zeus who play very aggressive will will obviously always have like something I need to think about twice, you know, if it's actually good against certain players, if it's good against certain champions he plays. Um, because I've seen Zeus playing champions like Vayne top lane and stuff like that, and we're gonna see, you know. So I definitely am very hyped up about this matchup. So gonna be very fun series.
Didn't you mention at some point that you were really excited to play Jack and Zeus played it like one day earlier?
No, he didn't actually play it one day earlier. He played it on the same day. So I was playing Zach the whole week of scrims, and I was doing so well with it. I think I was like 11-0 with it in scrims, and then I was like, oh, I'm so hyped, I'm gonna play it. And then the same day, Zeus played it, and then everybody thought I was copying Zeus, which was kind of funny. Um, but yeah, at least I got the Rek'Sai first and the TF first. So I was very happy about that. I think, yeah, again, like I think being able to, you know, find champions that are strong, um, when no one else is seeing these kind of champions, you know, like it's not champions, but you refine the meta, you know, like at some point Rek'Sai was picked all across the world. They had to nerf it to not be a top lane anymore.
You take credit
Same with
for
Zach.
it.
Uh, Not necessarily, but I was like the ignition, you know, like I
Yeah.
ignited the fire.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, it's been great. It's been great journey so far this year with like meta. I feel like I've been very sharp with what's strong right now. So I'm definitely looking forward to, you know, keep staying in this form of like finding champions, playing it very well. Um, and it might be in this MSI as well, where like a champion pops up and it was just 1v9 every game just because the champion is so strong and no one knew, you know. And it's for us, for me to find out. So I'm excited.
You mentioned, of course, Zeus is also a similar top laner. He's the guy who pulls out top lane Vayne. And Zeus is also often mentioned as being a stronger win condition as a top laner compared to other teams, perhaps.
Zeus is a very interesting player. I feel like he cannot click backwards on his side of the map. He only clicks forward. That's what I like always felt playing against this guy. Uh, and it's you know, like he will make you have to play good. You know, like there's some players in the past. I think Bin was very similar. I think nowadays it's less like that, where people would just click forward, you know, and they will just skill check you, you know. And I think Zeus is one of those type of players who will he will fight you. Like if you don't fight back, you will lose, basically. And so Zeus is the type of player who, like, if I respect him too much, he will win. And I think a lot of players respect him a lot. I mean, he's definitely very good mechanically. And for me, it's just gonna be, oh, if I know I'm winning this matchup and he plays like he's winning, I'm just gonna win. You know, that's my mentality going into this matchup. Um, so for me, it's gonna be important about if I really throughoutly know this matchup well, if he's actually winning, if I'm actually winning, because I feel like he's faking a lot of confidence when it comes to playing. Um, obviously, I will be very interesting. You know, I've been playing a bit against him in solo queue, some matchups. It's always different on stage, but I feel like on stage or like in scrims in the past, he's been playing very similar, like very aggressive. And for me, it's always very interesting to play against players like that who just play with no fear and just right click forward. I think there was even a stat where he had the most isolated deaths of any top laner, which even begs my theory, you know, that he just doesn't click backwards. Um, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, definitely. It's gonna be a lot of fun matchups. Let's see how he will do in the lane swaps. I feel like I probably have more experience in that, as we have practiced way more than they did. I believe. They even practiced it against other teams in MSI, so they definitely are aware of it, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Completely random question. Just because you mentioned Zeus's playstyle as well as been both in the past and in the current, who is like the single most impressive or oppressive top laner you had to lane against? Could be on matches or it could even be scrims.
Uh I would say back then I wasn't that good. It was for sure. He wasn't Nuguri. He was like I couldn't do much. I feel like. He was very strong. Like, I was 2020 in Worlds. I just couldn't do anything. I definitely think I was much worse back then. As a player, I feel like I evolved a lot. I think Zeus is similar. I think Bin is similar. Um, I definitely think I leveled up my game more, so it maybe feels less oppressive. But it was 2020 against Nuguri. I felt like he was the same. He just wouldn't click backwards, but I just would never win. Um, I feel like that's the kind of the story of T1. They play very aggressive lanes. They like to play aggressive. I feel like that's their style. You know, that's their identity of like, oh, we're gonna win lane and then win the game off of that. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Okay, my final question is, what is the expectation that the fans should set, or you want the fans to set, as G2 heads into 2024 MSI?
Um, well, I feel like when it comes to international tournaments now, a lot of fans are not having faith in Europe. You know, it makes sense for the outside perspective because we haven't had success in a while as a European region. For us internally, we always set our expectations high. That's just what G2 stands for. You know, we are winning a lot in Europe, so we also will obviously want a lot internationally, and that's the goal we are setting for ourselves. What the fans want to set their expectations for is really up to them. I would definitely like them to support us throughout this journey. Um, I think it will really depend on what we do in our first series. Right now, I can assume a lot of people will not expect us, to, but this will give me more motivation and us more motivation to showcase that we can, you know, and we will. So I think um, once we beat T1, then I think a lot of fans are gonna be on the hype train of G2 winning MSI 2024.
Wow, once we beat P1.
Exactly.
Okay, I will certainly look forward to it. Phoebe, thank you so much for your time in the interview, and best of luck, sincerely, going into 2024 MSI.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.